Internet detectives. Okay, the internet gets bashed on a lot, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Too much.
The internet takes a lot of heat. We are very proud to be an internet show here. We are internet people, I believe. And the internet, definitely has its drawbacks. Let's not... it gives platforms to some very terrible people. It gives some people whose opinions shouldn't be heard a place to state their opinions, and people are forced to hear it. There is a lot of drawbacks on the internet, but I believe the positives of the internet, if you look for them as opposed to looking for the negative, far outweigh the negative on the internet. The amount of things that have been invented and the connections that were made in the world that's got made smaller and the interactions that people have had that made, their life change. I think the internet has a lot more positive than negative. And I would like to say that internet detectives are some of the positive stuff whenever they do good, for the world. Now, granted, I can see how I don't want to say the olds because that's generalizing, but you understand what I'm saying whenever I say that, can hate the internet because, just completely cocking their entire operation on a very regular basis for free with very limited resources and everything like that. The internet has struck again. It is alleged user Static Rush on Reddit has discovered that on July 15th, 2020, the same company that registers and manages Redskins.com registered a new domain, DCSentinels.com.
Oh, let's go.
So, Static Rush on Reddit, who is an internet detective, it feels like, and did a little snooping around, believes and is reporting that DC Sentinels seems to be the leader in the clubhouse for the new Washington football team name TBDs as their name. Now, would it be incredibly clever of the Washington football team name TBDs to do this, to give a red herring?
Red herring.
A red herring where you send out like a fake. This is like, now, obviously we don't know what's going on between them now, but I've told this story numerous times. Kanye and Kim, they had their circle of friends whenever she was pregnant for the first time, and they gave out different names to each friend in the group. And then whatever name made it to the tabloids, they went ahead and took that person and said, get the hell out of here. Okay. How do you find a hole? How do you find a snitch? You go ahead and leak something to them and see if it gets out. Maybe the Washington football team named TBDs are one step ahead of everybody, and they're going to start doing this for the lot of you. I don't want to hop on the fact that they're definitely going to be the DC Sentinels yet, although we don't mind the name. We don't mind the name at all. We like that they went with DC instead of Washington, because to explain to somebody that isn't a football fan that the Washington team actually isn't in the state of Washington, it is in DC, it is a lot easier thing. And DC is kind of cool. District of Columbia, here we are, not a state, but we kind of do things, a lot of things. And the Sentinels, obviously, The Replacement's one of the greatest football movies of all time.
Yes.
Here we go. I wouldn't have mind because it's in that area, Virginia over there, DMV. Remember the Titans if they were the DC Titans, but the Tennessee Titans is already taken.
Yeah.
If we're going to go with another legendary football movie, The Replacements, I don't mind them sliding into DC Sentinels here, but we can't say this 100% true because the Washington football team named TBDs could be playing a little bit of a game here. And we don't know if Shane Falco's going to be playing. We think Dwayne Haskins will be, but DC Sentinels seems like a name that they could run with, and I think people would enjoy.
And it would be awesome if Rivera had to wear a suit every game with a top hat. Just,
the Replacements, they made some good decisions over there at Washington Sentinels.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about living on a boathouse and starting QB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That'd be a different animal.
Grit.
Yeah.
Throw Dewey out there.
Yeah. DC Sentinels, not a bad name. Not a bad name at all. I don't know if they go with it. And if you're thinking about going with it, you have to get the website immediately.
Correct, yeah.
So if it even pops up in conversation, if I'm talking to anybody in the Washington football team named TBD's organization right now, like every idea that you think could potentially be, you should be buying up everything you could possibly get around it, including, merch, trademarks, and everything like that, which is what they have to do, which is why whenever this happened on July 10th, we found it all very interesting if they're going to be able to change an entire franchise name, building, merch, uniforms, everything in 18 days. And then also on top of that, by the way, your toxic culture is also going to get exposed in the middle of it. If they turn their entire culture around to not sexually harass people anymore, and they change their name, I think Coach Ron Rivera deserves at least, 70% of that team if he is able to go in there in 1 year and get it all fixed.
Are we out on the Red Wolves or Red Tails, or what do we think?
I don't know if the Red Wolves was quite a name, by the way. Just the whole thought of. It kind of sounds like, maybe a little bit of an Arena League team or something like that.
I was going to say, that's just not an NFL team name.
I've also never seen a wolf. Wolf.
Be red.
Or in the DC area.
Yeah, I think everybody just wants it to be a den so they can howl.
That would, I mean, it is
By the way, because we do have to think about tradition as well. What chants, what songs, and the Red Wolves would have a rather cool one. Every kickoff, you know, some places have keys that they bring out. Imagine that entire place right before kickoff, just
Massive red moon on the
Oh, that'd be
jumbotron.
cool. Well, now it's the house that Falco built.
Hell yeah!
I like that too.
Hey, Shane Falco laid it all on the line every single game.
So did Utah.
Nigel Guinness, McGinnis.
Nigel Gruff.
They're going to have to sign Flacco and then have him change his name.
I was compared to that replacement kicker, I think, every day of my life probably. There for a long time. And also the, what was that other one? Blue Mountain State. That could have potentially been about our West Virginia team. I have not gotten, nobody has given me reassurance that it wasn't about our West Virginia team. It'd make a lot more sense if it was.